been a while. Let's see, 40, almost a 70-year-old floor. Laced in, a little bit lighter wood. The one is natural, so I don't know if that's I will. It's a little lighter. Anyways, we got 2 more coats to go. Well, yeah, today and then whatever. Down the hallway. Well, once this been sanded, it gets finished. I think this one's going to be the darkest. But anyways, they're not too far off. Natural. It's natural, just age. So, and then we started right there. And this is all mixed. Mixed. Got our stairs we did. Not bad. I kind of round my corners just the way the router bit works out. So I just, instead of going to a sharp corner, we started just rounding it. And that's not my idea. I've actually seen that a couple times in our area. So very, very seldom does anybody come up with something new. So typically we see it somewhere and we're like, yeah, I like that, and that's what we're gonna do. So I can't think of, I really can't think of something that I came up with or created. I've modified techniques that we've seen. I don't like a lot of top nails. Don't like them. Before the final coat will come through, I got a little stain pen. We'll darken those up. Or acrylic pen with some acrylic paint. We'll darken those up. Got another area here. Yeah, that one didn't take color too well, but it stayed in that, what do they call that? Well, it wasn't grain rip, but that was like a knot, but the filler stayed in. So, I mean, that's half the battle with those. So right here, we'll darken some of those up. Just get them to go away, but we really don't like to use top nails more than 2 rows, or a row and a half. We can use our staple, our crane staple setter. So the field will use 1 3/4 staples, not 2, 1 3/4, and then on the wall here, because we do glue too, we can use 1 1/2, 1 1/4. Makes it a lot easier when you're putting the staple in. You're not having to, first of all, the plunger's not as high, and you can get closer to the wall. Also, you don't have to hit it as many times to get it in there. And it's easier because you're not driving a staple through all that wood. Anyways, so they get, we use tongue and groove glue as well. And also, I mean, you could actually just put in the middle of that board, you could put 1 staple. And then we do 2 staples on this one. So you got to remember, a staple is going to hold a lot better than our nails, our pneumatic nails that we have today, the 15 gauge. Now, I did come along in this trade when we use 2-inch hardened steel casing nails. I'm pretty sure not a whole lot of guys know what those are or that they even existed. But if you tore out an old floor and you see those top nails, that's what those were. Hardened steel, 2-inch hardened steel casing nails. And they would actually drive those with a blunt tip. Remember a blunt tip, you don't want it to crack. they would actually drive those through the 3/4 inch hardwood. So that's the deal. Also, I'll tell you another thing the old timers used to do. If that last row was an inch wide, they would actually do 2 pieces and split the difference. And if you ever see that and wonder why that's the case, it's just because sometimes those pieces, getting them in and getting nailed down, were too narrow. So if you ever see that and wonder why that's the case, that's why they did it. They did a lot of weird things back then. I mean, you see it out there, a lot of your old floors, they'll start, the guys would go out and they'd each start in a room. And then however they ended up in a doorway or in the middle of the room or whatever, they just stuck a sliver in there, top nailed it. So, I hope that explains some of that weirdness. You know, in the 60s, there really wasn't a lot, you know, if you ask me, in the 60s, 50s, 60s, hardwood floors were still, they were done. Carpet was more expensive. So if you had rugs, you were considered the elite. Wood floors were just utilitarian, so they served a function. Just made it easier to clean your floors. You know, a lot of old houses were just subfloors, and you know, a lot of your plank floors in the East Coast, you know, those eastern white pine floors, those were subfloors. So, and then they just finished them, you know. Now we've evolved, and today things are a little different. So in the 50s and 60s, the way I look at it, flooring for hardwood began to take off, and as we got better in our techniques and we got nailers, which nail the floor too tight, also expectations were different. A lot of our old hand nailed floors around here are, you know, they got gaps and stuff. Today you won't see that on a new floor. You'll see it cupped. And then if it shrinks, it's not going to leave gaps very much. So, but a lot of it was just hand nailed with hatchets. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Get that nail down to the tongue and not damage the corner, and then they flip over a hatchet and beat it in. So, anyways, so floors have come a long ways, and now we like things to be continuous. And we don't put those little slivers, and the layout's different. You just don't start on a wall and another guy starts, and, you know. So, a guy would probably have started over there and another guy in here. And if they got right here and they were off, they would just stuck a sliver in there and kept going, you know. So it was a different time. They didn't have things were a little more loosey-goosey, you know. We're doing an insurance job coming up. Maybe, I don't know yet. I talked to the adjuster yesterday to go over things, and it is it's got a 2-foot wide border, cabin corners, you know, all the butt ends are lifted off of the border because it's not tongue and groove and stuff like that. And, you know, that wouldn't fly today. You get a call back and they'd be like, why can't I feel the edge and stuff? So things are different. So luckily, as times have progressed, so our tools and the trade, so we have track saws, we got routers, we got all kinds of stuff that we can use to do that. So I needed to just kind of go over that, why my price why it was what it was, and the guy totally got it, so which was really refreshing. So Alex was his name. He'd actually worked for a contractor, so we kind of knew a little bit what was going on. So it was just nice to talk to somebody that's just not, he just knew his way around a home and kind of the techniques and stuff. So it was really refreshing to talk to somebody from the insurance company that just respected what I had to say. So I don't know. Alex, he'll never see this video, but if he does, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Anyways, yeah, this is what it is. Just thought I'd give you guys an update. This is what we're up to. This is the upstairs. Again, it's Maxwell Select and Better. I'm going to call it John Crow's Specialty #1 Common and Better. Who's heard of that grade, huh? That goes way back. That's 70s. That's the 70s. So, #1 Common and Better. That's what we're going to call my floor, because that's what it is. Mixed #1 Common and Select and Better Maxwell. So, I just wish they didn't send all these boards. I mean, some bundles, you open them up and half of them are that. So, typically, that would be a sapwood board. Sapwood, which is fine. It's totally acceptable. You know, that would be a white oak with sapwood, which would be more of your yellow. That's fine, but for some reason, you don't see that a lot in your older floors. You don't see a lot of that. And they're great. So just, you don't see a lot of that two-tone red oak. You know, there's one, but it's got some gray on the other side. But you don't see, this one's closer, a little bit white, but you don't see, there's another red-gray, you just gotta sprinkle them in, and they're not in the old floors. You might find them here and there, but they're not there. And the gray wood, the gray boards, they're not in the old #1 Common floors. So you got to sprinkle those in too. So if you're doing a lacing and stuff, really hard. So yeah, another gray one right in the doorway. I wouldn't put that one there, but I can't control everything. I just gotta let the guys go. Another gray. I mean, this was the only room I had in the house I could put all my junk wood. So it could have been all gray. So I don't know why Maxwell doesn't start. I mean, how cool would it be to pull out all these lighter gray, dark gray boards and do a floor? You know what? I mean, they could actually create something that you could order. Don't even have to stain it. And you start out with this gray base. Just say, 3/4 of the board has to be gray. So that one right there wouldn't make the cut. But it sure would eliminate a lot of that. So I know we're gotten out of our gray phase, but still, you could stain it. I don't know, it could definitely affect your stain colors. So that would be cool. So I don't know why they just don't do that. They just call it their gray line. The gray alien line. Anyways, so I mean you could do that board, that one. Yeah. Kind of a cool look. So that's what I have in my house. I mean, I've got other stuff sprinkled in there, but I got a lot of gray wood. But I stained it dark, so I don't know what it would look like natural like that. But I think that'd be a cool look, and that might, or create a grade or something for that wood. I don't know. You'd still be selling it. You could sell it for more than what you're getting for #1 Common. Just got to be smart about it. So anyways, they're throwing it in here. And they're throwing it in Select and Better. So, this is what it is. Like I said, we got, we're going to do coat everything again today. And then tomorrow we're just going to put the moldings on the stairs, the Scotia, and then we'll coat the stairs and the upstairs. And then on Friday we're going to coat the downstairs. So, shout out to Bona. Get to feel that. Really like their Traffic Go. It's really some cool stuff. What's nice about it is I feel like without any effort with the T-bar, we're actually getting 450 coverage rate. So maybe a little more or a little less. Oh yeah, a little less, 400, which is really nice. You know, the whole thing is sealing that wood off and sealing that soft grain off. So if you don't seal that soft grain off, that's where the wood's going to get in, water's going to get in, it's going to wear. You always see it. It wears in that soft grain first. So you want to get that build on that. So really happy with Traffic Go. Really happy with Bona. Mike and Larry in my area are really, Larry's super and Mike is super helpful too. So, two really good guys to be able to work with and ask questions and stuff like that. So, I will touch on this. I still like the R540 sealer. I'm really not, roll coat. I'm not, I don't know what to think about that yet. We did one job with it. It didn't dry as fast as they said. I don't know if it's the conditions or what. We had heat in the house. It was raining. Yeah, I don't know. I did use a 3/8 snap roller, so that could have been it. Not a 1/4 inch. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to make of that yet. So what I don't like about it is, so I use the R540 over my Advantech floors, and this is the reason why I'm not happy with the roll coat. So I do it to prime that, and then we glue to that. None of my jobs are full trowel unless I'm on concrete. It's all nail glue assist. So the floor can be tore up if it needs to come up. Or I tried tearing out a floor we glued full spread down and it ruined the subfloor. So at that point we tried to figure out a different way. But that's what we did. Still hard to get it up, but it can come up. What's that at? Oh, so if you look in the TDS on the roll coat, it says do not use on Advantech. So I'm thinking, okay, Advantech, maybe some other OSBs, I'm not sure, but most of our new subfloors here are OSB, and yeah, so yeah, that kind of, yeah, so I got 4 gallons of RR roll coat that I don't know when I'll get to using them, so yeah, so don't quit making your R540, and really, the roll coat doesn't work for me. I need a one and done thing. So I'm still using the R540. Gallagher quit carrying, they don't carry any of the R540. They're just carrying the roll coat right now. So that's a bummer. So I'm gonna have to figure something out, stock some up. I hate to carry a bunch of stock on something and sit on it. Rather have my money somewhere else doing something for me. So anyways, over and out. Nice and flat.